Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Rain's Custom Fab. Today I'm going to be running you guys through a tutorial on how to weld a 3G beveled plate. Most people that use this for certifications, your 3G is going to be your vertical up. So most certification tests, that's going to be your 3G and your 4G. 4G being your overhead and 3G being your vertical up. That's what most people do for your certification test, either if it's for college, for a job that's wanting to hire you, or even in school practicing it on your own. So right here I'm grinding down the beveled plate and showing you guys the right thickness that you need for your landing. It's a 3/32. I use 3/32 TIG wire, making sure you get that ground down, checking it just right. 3/32 landing. Then I'm going to fit everything up. You also want to have a 3/32 gap. So I also have a spacer for that, which is also TIG wire. Just getting prepped here. You want to make sure everything is fitted up right, and your bevel plates or whatever you're welding doesn't have any offset. If it has an offset, it's going to come together a little bad. You're not going to get exactly the same penetration that you want, or you're going to have excessive weld. So here we go, getting into it. Sometimes that rod wants to be a little bit tricky, you don't want to fire right up. Another thing you want to do whenever you stop, you want to grind down your tacks and your stops, because if you don't, you're not going to get full penetration. That's why you grind it down, you feather down your weld, like the end of it where you just welded, or your tacks. That way you can get full penetration, because if you don't, you're not going to get full penetration like that. You feather it, it's going to be a very thin piece of metal. Whenever you go back and weld over it, it's going to push right through, and it's going to look like it's all one weld. That's what you wanted to make it look like. So here we go. Whenever you're doing this, make sure you see more light on the back side of the plate than the front side. You want to stick that rod in the middle of the gap and just push right through. Go slowly up and watch your keyhole. If your keyhole gets too big, that means either you're going too slow or you're going too fast. You want to watch that keyhole, make sure it's the same size the whole way you go up. So I welded about halfway. I'm going to show you guys the front, what it looks like. And the back side too. That's basically what you're looking for right there. Then I'm going to grab that grinder and feather down that weld. That way I can get the most penetration out of it as I can. I want to start from the bottom of the grinding marks, pretty much where you just ground, and then go up. You'll be able to push right through that thin feather. We call it feathering whenever you grind down your weld for your root, for your root pads. You want to feather down those welds. Here we are, pushing all the way through, making sure we're getting everything out of that. If you struggle a little bit and you feel the keyhole getting bigger, pause a second, go back down, control your keyhole. So if it gets too big, you're gonna have excessive weld. Whenever you're at the top, pause for a few seconds, because if you don't, your weld puddle is gonna go down as it's cooling down. Here's the back side of it. Looks like all one weld, right? Now I'm going to grab the grinder. We're going to grind up all that stuff. Make it nice and even. Smooth. That way you can get the most penetration out of this. Doing a 7018, we're doing the fill pass right now. I'm using the 7018 1/8 inch rod, running at about 105 amps. Making sure you got all that flux out of there. Camera moved whenever I was grinding, so there we go, fix it up. For the certification test, whatever you're doing, even if you're just practicing, make sure you clean up your weld. Because if you don't, you can leave slag in there. And you're not going to get the most penetration as you want. And those little pieces of slag and discontinuities, it's not going to be good for you. Those 7018 rods, sometimes they don't want to fire right up, so you got to strike it a few times. They're not as sensitive as those 6010 rods. Here we're going slowly pushing up. Watch your rod angle too. You want to make sure you got your rod angle just right. Pause right there at the top. Make sure you're getting all that penetration. Pause side to side as well. That'll help you out a lot. That way you can get both sides of the weld of the bevel plate. Here we go, chipping that off. Looking real nice. If you want to, you can also cool down your plate too. That way it doesn't get super hot whenever you do your fill pass. There I go, I got it all cleaned up and cooled down. That was my fill pass. There's my root pass. Not the prettiest looking. I've done better. Yeah. Here we're doing the cover pass. Right now I'm using 7018. This is a 3/32 rod running about 85 amps. You're going to do a Z-weave on this vertical up. You're going to go side to side. Don't go fast. You got to go at a slower rate. You want to make sure you pause side to side. Go to one side, pause about 1 to 2 seconds. Go to the other side, pause 1 to 2 seconds. And then it'll actually look like a Z-weave whenever you're finished. For me, what I'm looking for, I try to get that cap looking real nice and pretty. I usually use about 3 rods for a 6-inch piece. Not too bad. You probably can use 2, but I didn't burn up the whole rod. Yeah, because those 7018 rods 3/32, those get real hot whenever you hold them in your hand for a while. Welding, just like I said, pause side to side. Get that weld puddle. Watch what you're doing. Making this thing look real nice. Chip off that flux, clean her up, move on to the next pass. Almost done with this piece. It's gonna look real nice. Here we go, almost done. Pause at the top. Make sure all of that's filled. There we go, we're gonna go and cool it down and clean it up, polish it. That way you guys can see what it looks like on the finish. There we go. I just have a few pinholes, nothing too bad. Yeah, you want to watch that too. Pinholes is from long arcing, from getting too far away from weld puddle. So you want to look out for that. Thank you guys for watching my video.